Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in today's session. We're going to talk about what I believe is the biggest marketing challenge facing auto repair shop owners. This is something I'm very passionate about. I hope we can analyze it together and help you increase your profits from your current marketing efforts in your auto repair business. So let's aim to keep this session to about 45 minutes. Please save your questions for the end so we can cover everything. I'm really eager to share this valuable information with you today. If you'd like, we can always set up a follow-up call to dive deeper into any topics or questions that you may have. So, all right, so let's focus fully on this session. Please close your Facebook and other browser windows, as the information we'll discuss could have an immediate and positive impact on your shop's revenues. So I'd like to give everyone a couple of minutes before we start to reflect on your current challenges. Maybe you're struggling not having enough leads, dealing with low quality leads, or facing difficulties in converting leads. Feel free to share your thoughts quickly in the chat. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're experiencing? Go ahead and pop that in the chat real quick. High quality leads and consistency in leads. Yeah, I see that a lot. Okay, so we often hear the same challenges from new clients and then we build a roadmap from there. I have observed the typical patterns of what clients do right and wrong in their marketing and what's working best and some of the typical challenges. What I hear almost every day is that we're not getting enough leads. We need more. Nearly all repair shop companies believe that the key to growing their business is to get more leads, whether it's through SEO, pay-per-click, or Google local service ads, if your shop is utilizing those now. So if we can attract more leads, it means more opportunities for us to increase our earnings, keep our bays busy, and achieve our goals, bringing us closer to true success. Sometimes the challenge isn't a lack of leads, but rather the quality of the leads. Some shops, they find they get plenty of leads, but the quality isn't right. They encounter price shoppers, folks outside their service area, or people who simply aren't serious about making a decision for their business. So let's focus on tracking not just more leads, but the right kind of leads that will generate growth, that will genuinely grow your business. So let's focus on attracting not just more leads, but the right kind of leads that can genuinely grow your shop. Sometimes the expense to generate a lead can be quite steep, leading to a lower return on investment. You see, we might be able to get leads, but if it costs between 100 and 150 for each one, it becomes challenging to really profit. Even with good conversion rates and cost per leads that high, it's just not sustainable. So sometimes it's just a matter of not having a straightforward way to track return on investment, which can make understanding the results more challenging. If you don't know what your ROI is to the dollar for what you invest each month, there is something wrong. Okay, so just a warning there. I do talk to a lot of shop owners that don't know what their return on investment is for their paid ad campaigns. You're generating leads and you're seeing a return on your marketing investment, but you don't really know what's actually driving those results. So without clear visibility, you're essentially flying blind. As the famous saying goes, half the money I spend on marketing is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. So one of the biggest hurdles that we face is having so many options available. Remember when it was yellow pages? That's it. So it's changed a lot, hasn't it, folks? So it can be overwhelming trying to decide the best ways to promote our auto repair business. But remember, we're in this together and we can find the right path forward. So there are so many different avenues to explore. Like websites, that's your foundation. SEO, pay-per-click, social media, radio ads, billboard ads, participating in local networks, that's also beneficial. With so many choices, it can be overwhelming to decide what to focus on and what to put aside. But I often wonder, what's the biggest challenging that you're facing? In my experience, many people struggle with getting enough leads. In my experience, many people struggle with getting enough leads. If we can find a way to generate more leads, everything else tends to fall in place more easily. But is lead flow really the problem when you consider the many options available that can actually deliver a clear and measurable return on investment? From SEO to the Google Map Pack, LSA ads, they went national this year in March. for all auto repair shop businesses, and which is really gaining momentum and are actually delivering much better returns than PPC is. But anyway, that's a different webinar. I believe there's actually an endless number of leads available to your auto repair shop. It's not really the leads that are the issue. It's rather how you connect with them. So if you think you have a lead problem, consider grabbing a copy of my book, The Ultimate SEO Guide for Automotive Repair Service Businesses, How to Triple Your Sales in Record Time. For auto shop owners, you can get the book for free on my website, autorepairseo.com. And I also wrote another book, Triple Your Sales and Grow Your Business. So you can get either book on there, but I talk about lead generation in both books. Here I'd like to introduce our agency's digital dominance method, which outlines everything that you should do to maximize your online lead flow. It provides a clear step-by-step guide on how to achieve that. If you're thinking that more leads are what you need, this is a fantastic resource for you. We also offer other in-depth trainings like this one, where I share more about that model and how you can position yourself to boost your lead flow online. I truly believe the biggest challenge for auto repair shops today is not leads, it's unconverted leads. It's converting the leads that you're already getting into sales. Many of you are successfully generating leads from all of these different sources that I mentioned, which gives you a lot of opportunities. Sometimes, though, those leads don't convert as much as they would or should. So let me share a bit about why that might be. Here's how I see it. Research shows that about 50 to 60% of inbound leads don't convert. And in some cases, it's even higher. So for every 10 people who reach out and show interest in your services, most of them don't end up booking a job. We also see that about 90% of web forms, they fail to convert. Web forms are those forms on your website where someone could submit a request for information. They can enter usually their name, phone number, email, and address, and then the form is submitted. Web forms are kind of like where leads go to die, right? The leads get there, and then someone in the office might be responsible for following up, but they don't get back to them quickly enough. Instead, they end up overwhelmed with calls from other people, handling customers, et cetera, and they don't see these emails coming in. So most of those don't convert, and here's why. As we've examined, this is the reason. Leads that aren't followed up on within 15 minutes go cold. When someone has an auto repair problem, they're usually eager to get it fixed quickly. And if they filled out a form, called your shop, or left a message, and they don't hear back within 15 minutes or less, they feel they need to look elsewhere. Now, by the way, this is subconscious. They haven't called me back in 15 minutes, so I'm going to go elsewhere. But they could easily contact another shop or set up an appointment somewhere else. The second point is that it usually takes about 5 to 7 follow-up contacts before a customer makes a booking, a first-time customer. This applies to those who have submitted the form but haven't committed yet, whether they're asking for an estimate, requesting a quote. These kinds of conversations happen repeatedly in your business, and being patient and persistent can really make a difference. Most auto repair shops schedule those jobs that occur spontaneously, but there's no follow-up after the initial conversation with those who don't book. So if somebody calls in, they book right then, fine, but if they don't, there's no follow-up. That's where the gold is. Have you ever wondered why your shop might be missing out on potential customers? For years, many shops believed that a real lead was someone who called, explained their issue, and booked an appointment after a friendly chat. But here's the truth. The approach is changing quickly, and it's essential to adapt to these new trends to keep attracting new clients. Today's customers prefer texting over calling, and an increasing number of them are choosing to reach out this way exclusively, 22%. So the population this year, 2025. If your shop isn't ready to connect through text, you're missing out on business. Allowing your competition to step in instead. Making this small change can help you stay connected and stay ahead. So consider this. Each missed message represents a missed opportunity, and every competitor leveraging texting is gaining an edge. The trend is unmistakable. The shift is enormous, and those shops that embrace this change will lead the way. Basically, if your website isn't offering text messaging, you're missing out on potential sales, and your competitors might just be grabbing that opportunity instead. So I truly believe that using marketing automation to promptly follow up with your web form submissions within the first couple of minutes, 2 minutes, through phone, email, and text will make a huge difference. Lead follow-up automation software exists now, so I'm going to show you exactly how it works. I'll also elaborate on how you can use it to your advantage. Next, consider using lead automation follow-up software to gently ensure that each prospect receives at least 5 touch points. This way, you can engage with them through friendly two-way text messages instead of relying solely on phone calls. It creates a more personal and comfortable connection. So as we dive in, I'll break this down further, but for now, I want to highlight the key trends. The math behind this is actually pretty straightforward. We've conducted some split testing and data mining on our own, and on average, an auto repair company generates about 100 leads each month. I also know that many of you are doing even a lot more than that, which is truly impressive. So for some of you, aiming for 100 leads sounds like a fantastic target. So let's just consider a scenario where you get 100 leads a month with an average conversion rate of around 30%. This way, it feels more approachable and motivating. So now, on average, about 70% of cold inbound inquiries in the industry go unfollowed up on, which is unfortunate. Most shops receive a lead, and then if the person is ready to book on that first call, they'll do so. But if not, there's no follow-up after that. And when a web form comes in, the team is often just too busy. No one is assigned to follow up with these leads, send follow-up text messages, and make follow-up phone calls, or send follow-up emails. So there's really no follow-up, which means for 100 leads, you get approximately 30 booked jobs. So 30 booked jobs with an average ticket of $650, for example, which is a good ARO for a non-European shop. So from 100 leads, you earn approximately $19,500 revenue. It's probably not as effective as it needs to be to build a business on 100 leads generated. On the flip side, if we can generate those same 100 leads effortlessly without doing any extra marketing or increasing our spending and investment, it's a win for everyone. And we can raise the conversion rate to 70%. And I genuinely believe that with proper follow-up on your leads and utilizing automation, something I'll be demonstrating shortly, is very achievable. You can automate the follow-up process to ensure every lead is contacted within 5 minutes or less, and you can continue touching them multiple times after their inquiry until they either book or they just vanish. So from those 100 leads, instead of 30, we end up with 70 book jobs. Same ARO, 650, right? For those same leads, we're able to generate 45 grand in revenue. It's more than double what we achieved before optimizing our marketing automation. So this isn't just some far-off dream. This technology is real and available right now, and it helps make every lead that you receive even more valuable. So automation coupled with, let me be clear on this, a website that's built to convert the leads into booked jobs. So remember, 20 to 60% of the traffic that goes to repair shop websites don't book. And over the last 2 years, they've found a lot of things that you can do to the website that changes that. Most of them are subconscious, and I do have a workshop specifically on how to get your website to convert at a maximum level. So you have the opportunity to invest more in lead generation and adopt a more proactive marketing approach. This can lead to improved profitability, enabling you to recruit better top technicians and offer competitive pay. It's all about converting your leads effectively and making the most of your investment to grow your shop. The higher profitability comes from this effective follow-up strategy. The most important thing is to connect with your customers in a way that they prefer to engage in. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to share a helpful statistic from trusted research to highlight this. Statistics show us that 98% of all text messages are opened and 95% are responded to within 3 minutes of being delivered. What's more, U.S. consumers are 5 times more likely to send and receive a text message than make a phone call. We all have our phones. We see the little text bubble and automatically respond. Many of us have a habit of ignoring the phone sometimes. Honestly, I hate to admit it, but almost every call I receive ends up going to voicemail. I tell myself I'll get back to it when I get time. Unless it's my wife, then I answer right away. I bet you're probably the same way, and so are your customers. So this transition has already occurred. Email response rates are now they're in the toilet. They're in the 10% range. So suppose your primary way of connecting with customers is just through the phone. In that case, you might be missing out on most of the key opportunities for communication and turning contacts into customers. So, and yes, I keep emphasizing this because it's really important. We need to follow up on leads immediately. Understanding the importance of quick follow-up can really make a difference. If you reached out to a lead within 5 minutes, you're 21 times more likely to engage them compared with waiting 30 minutes. It's a small change. It has a huge impact. Hear what I just said? It's 21 times more likely, not 2 or 3. So the research does say 15 minutes and the lead is lost. But the research is also clear. You've got 5 minutes to get back to somebody. They're wanting to get this taken care of now, and they're just moving down the list. They're just moving down the list on Google and making a choice. So just think about it. Taking only 25 minutes can make the difference between landing the job or missing out. In fact, after just 5 minutes, your chances of qualifying a lead decrease by 80%. And here's an interesting point. Half of all the leads choose the shop that responds first. And here's an interesting point, and probably the most important point. Half of all leads choose the shop that responds first. So if you're the first shop to talk to the consumer about their issue or problem, you have a 50% chance in getting the business. If you're waiting hours or just even a half an hour, as far as I'm concerned, even 15 minutes, you're too late. The shop that responds the quickest is the one that wins the business. That's why we want to leverage automation. As you're looking at this, you're thinking, okay, I get it. I need to follow up quickly. So doing so will cost me money since I have to hire, someone, maybe a part-time or full-time salesperson whose sole job is to follow up on leads. But there aren't enough leads to keep that person busy. So the technology is available to solve this. It just hasn't been widely adopted by auto repair shops until now. It hasn't been implemented on a large scale. But the ideal outcome would be that every lead coming into your shop from any method receives a text message and an email within 30 seconds. And someone from your shop personally calls them within 5 minutes. We want every lead that doesn't convert, doesn't book immediately, or doesn't say no to be contacted at least 7 times through email, SMS, and phone until they either book or show that they're not interested. So let me ask you, if you followed up with your leads this way, do you think you could significantly improve your conversion rates? So just give me a yes or no in the comments real quick. Lots of yeses. Awesome. So let me show you how this works. I have a flow diagram. I'll break this down for you step by step. How can we use the latest technology to automatically book around 60 to 70% of the inquiries in the way that they prefer to interact with us? So somebody visits your website and they inquire, and then they receive a phone call, an SMS, an email almost instantly. The customer will get a message. Hey, I saw that you submitted the request on our site. Do you want to schedule in? And then by leveraging artificial intelligence, we can determine the intent of their responses. Like really, there are only 2 legitimate responses. They might say yes, or they might ask, well, what times do you have available? The AI engines are smart enough to recognize positive or negative intent, right? So if that's the case, then all we need to do is say, great, here's a link where you can pick a time that works, for you on your calendar. So we recommend AutoOps. That's the company that we've been working with. I want to talk about something that creates a psychological advantage, what I call a soft booking. Normally, if you ask someone to book, they'll say, well, not right now. I have a couple of questions. And you might treat them with more care than any other lead. You have to call them back, answer their questions, and try to get them scheduled. But here's what we found. About 60% of inquiries just want their issue resolved. But they also want a sense of closure. So knowing something is scheduled so they can stop reaching out and searching and feel like it's handled. So the other 40% can still be treated like traditional leads. We can follow up, talk them through their questions, and move them through the booking process. We have a handy tracking dashboard that helps us monitor our clients' results. We love showing them the details, like how much they've spent, the number of leads that they're generated, and their average cost per lead. Currently, we're looking at a $10,500 monthly spend, which covers management fees, pay-per-click ads, and organic efforts. For that investment, they reached 307 leads. Isn't it great to see that all in just one place? We call it leads reporting. Instead of all these different reports, how many leads did you get me, and how many of those leads converted into book jobs? The average cost per lead came out to around $34.10, which is pretty good. We've got it down to 20, and we've seen it as high as 100. These leads were coming through multiple sources like organic pay-per-click ads, Google Maps, web forms on their site. However, despite generating 307 leads, there was no automation in place. This is a classic scenario. Leads come in, the office staff, usually just one person, usually checks and responds to them once a day, especially the web form submissions, with no automation to respond instantly. Many leads were likely going cold before anyone even realized it or reached out. So we estimated the conversion rate at around 30%, which is actually being generous and giving them the benefit of the doubt. So out of 307 leads, that works out to 92 booked jobs with an average ticket of $650. Those 92 booked jobs would be $59,800, which is about a seven times return on investment. Pretty good, right? I think most of us would be happy with that kind of return on investment. If we could spend $1 and get 7 back, that's pretty good. But the truth is, it could have been much better. Looking at many of our clients, this was about the norm, around 30 to 50%, with some really good aggressive ones reaching out into the low 50s. So research shows that implementing automation, which we see an increase of up to 70% in average conversion rates. So like my current earlier example, for that 307 leads, that would have resulted in 215 book jobs and same average ticket, without spending any additional money on advertising or really changing the sales process or anything. That's 139,750 in revenue compared to 59,800, simply by improving the conversion rates. So we're using some averages here. So refining our lead conversion automation has greatly impacted our results. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of Dan Kennedy. I'm a big student of direct response marketing and marketing in general. That's what I do for a living. So he's one of the godfathers of direct response marketing. And he's famously quoted as saying, "The business that can spend the most to acquire a customer wins." When you start converting your leads at a much higher level, you can spend more than the competition to acquire those customers, right? And that's how you gain the competitive advantage to go out and hire the best technicians to grow the business. Remember, the people that are looking on the web don't have a referral to your shop or any other shop. These customers, once they come in, can be your lifelong customers. So these customers coming from internet sources are your key, most important customers. If you're in a market where there's a competitor spending heavily on direct response, radio ads, billboards, PPC, LSA ads, you name it, it can feel overwhelming. They seem to have a massive budget, and you're left wondering, how in the world are they doing this, right? So they found a way to spend more to attract customers while ensuring their business remains profitable. Let's look at how we can also apply this success to your own shop and expand even more. So looking at our flow chart here, someone visits your website, right? They say they saw an ad or ran a search and they land on your site. So usually we have some kind of call to action, like a spot where they can submit a form. Obviously, we want to provide the option to call. So we should always offer the choice for them to engage in a call, in a chat, right? To ask a quick question. What happens next is that we want to display a confirmation page that says, "Hey, thanks for submitting your request." And then we should give them the option to go ahead and schedule a time right now. So obviously, we want to provide the option to call. We should always offer the choice for them to engage in a chat, right? To ask a quick question. What happens next is that we want to display confirmation page that says, "Hey, thanks for submitting your request." Then we give them the option to go ahead and schedule a time right now. If so, and then we can provide that as well. But then we also want to have automations running in the background to nurture that lead and follow up with them almost instantaneously. So things that you want on your website include a pop-up, chat with us now, scheduling a service, checking out reviews, browsing specials. Make it easy for visitors to find what they need. If they want to chat, have a quick conversation. If they want to schedule, direct them to a scheduler. If they need to see more reviews for social proof before choosing your company, guide them there. Take them where they need to go. But this is where the real challenge happens. 99% of repair shops, when you fill out the form, it just sits there waiting for someone on your team to take action, waiting for someone to follow up. And the minutes as we've seen from statistics. And then, like I said before, with forms, this is where the real challenge happens. 99% of auto repair shops, when you fill out a form, it just sits there waiting for someone on your team to take action, waiting for someone to follow up. And the minutes, as we've seen from the statistics, are dollars that are burning. So we use something called smart forms. Whether someone contacts us through the chat or on the form in the website, we can set it up so that a few things happen automatically. The first thing that is a simple text message, not too flowery. Say, hey, this is Ashley from Perfect Auto Repair. Thanks for reaching out to us via the form on our website. Would you like to schedule your service or estimate now? Just, very straightforward and unassuming. Now, in addition to that, we want to try calling them. It's called Smart Connect. Once someone fills out the form, it'll automatically call your office and connect to the counter rep who handles your inbound calls. It'll say, Ashley just filled out a form on your website. Press any button to connect now. So yes, there are many people who prefer to connect over the phone. When a form is submitted, every minute counts. The longer that lead remains untouched, the less likely it is going to convert. That's why automation is so effective. It really cuts out the delay and reduces friction. So here's how it works. As soon as a form is submitted, the system automatically contacts your shop with a simple prompt to connect. Meanwhile, the customer receives a text message, and if they don't answer, a voicemail informing them that you've reached out to them, that you've reached out immediately. They also get a confirmation email in just seconds. They feel like your shop is responsive, proactive, and ready to help them. And like I said before, the numbers really confirm it. So just remember this, 98% of text messages are opened with 95% being read within 3 minutes. So, and in comparison to the email response rates, now they're 10% or less. Remember when it was only email? You sent somebody an email, they responded right away? Not anymore. Over 60% of people submitting a form are trying to book a job immediately. Half of all those leads go to the shop that responds first. By automating that instant connection, you can become that shop. The result is simple. Customers stop searching, they stop calling other shops, and they start committing to you. Even an initial tentative booking, like Thursday between 3 and 6, gives them the sense that their problem is being handled. They can take it off their to-do list. That's the real win, getting them off the market and in your world faster than your competition can. That's what I said was earlier we call a soft booking. It stops their search. They're soft booked into you. Now they're not going to call any other shops. That's what we want. At the same time, the customer receives their instant follow-up. Your company gets an alert through the conversion app. So we provide an app for all of our clients. You can put it on as many phones as you want. You'll see the lead on your phone or desktop immediately. You also respond text messages through the app too. So you can be in the shop, you can be in the bathroom, you can be anywhere. So a call then comes straight into your office with the option to connect live. So you're talking to the customer within minutes of their inquiry. That addresses the main reason leads don't convert. They aren't followed up within 5 minutes. We call it speed to lead. From there, the customer can select flexible booking. For example, Thursday between 3 and 5. They'll immediately receive a confirmation text informing them that a team member will follow up with them to confirm the appointment. You're notified, on your side, you're notified that the customer submitted the form and chose Thursday between 3 and 5. The customer feels cared for, you've secured the appointment before they considered visiting another shop, and you get the deal. You get that repeat business. You have the potential of getting that customer's repeat business. Your team doesn't need to chase every inquiry. The system handles the initial responses. Focus on the people who soft booked or asked specific questions. That's when you make a quick call. I see that you wanted to come in on Thursday between 3 and 5. Let's confirm that. Sometimes they'll say yes, other times they'll have a question or two, and you can confirm it better. And that's your chance to close that deal and really get them in. You communicate with the person. The appointment may shift slightly depending on your technician's availability, but the main point is that the prospect already feels committed. They've mentally chosen your shop and stopped searching other options. That's the goal that we're aiming for. Of course, not everyone responds immediately. That's when automation continues working for you. Anyone who doesn't reply is added to a simple nurture sequence. Every few days, they'll receive a light touch. Hey, this is Ashley from Perfect Auto Repair. Just checking in to see if you still have a repair or maintenance need. It's friendly, it's unobtrusive, and consistent. What's remarkable is how frequently people finally respond after a week or two. They'll see the message and then eventually they call the shop or reply with the text, yes, let's schedule. This demonstrates the quiet power of automation. It keeps leads engaged, keeps them top of mind with you, your shop, and turns prospects who might otherwise fade away into paying customers. Really, you guys have many lead sources. Imagine being able to capture all of the leads, including the phone inquiries that come into your shop but don't book, and guiding them through this automation process I'm describing right now. Do you feel that this would affect your conversion rates? Do you feel this would affect your shop's bottom line? Do you believe that you'd gain that first caller advantage? So remember, leads that aren't followed up within 15 minutes go cold. A follow-up within 5 minutes is 21 times more effective than calling after 30. 50% of the leads convert and go to the first company that responds. And statistics show us that 98% of text messages are opened and 95% are responded to within the first 3 minutes of being delivered. So there's some serious power to this whole process. Now, I want to be clear on one thing. You need a website that is built to convert. I mentioned this earlier. There's been extensive research in recent years on the strategies required to improve website conversions. This research revealed that 20 to 60% of website traffic goes unconverted. Since then, numerous studies have been conducted uncovering many techniques that can be implemented to maximize conversion rates using subconscious psychological triggers. In February, I led a workshop with the Automotive Maintenance Repair Association and the Automotive Management Network on the latest proven strategies to turn more of your current website visitors into booked jobs. If you want that link to that webinar, it's how to optimize your website for maximum conversion and lead flow, send me an email. It's paul@autorepairseo.com, and I'll share that link with you. You can call us, by the way, if you have any questions, 877-237-6969, or visit autorepairseo.com. To schedule a discovery call with us. It's first come, first serve. I can only do 2 or 3 of those a week. The AutoShop AMP, the automated program I've been talking about, is included in all of our packages. So reach out if you'd like a detailed analysis of your shop's website and digital presence as compared to your competitors. If you haven't had that done within the last year, I highly recommend it. We don't accept everyone who contacts us, so we always start with a discovery call to see if we're a good fit for your shop. So visit autorepairseo.com. You'll see the schedule button right there. So the biggest question is, will this make you more money? Will it help you convert more leads and grow your business? I believe the answer is an obvious yes. So it's all about maximizing your lead flow and following up on the phone, whether immediately or when you have a chance, leveraging automation and giving customers the option to engage through their preferred methods, such as text messages. Additionally, ensure that you've got enough nurture sequences in place to follow up with those unconverted leads until they either say yes or they opt out. If you're curious about your digital presence and want a lead flow acceleration session, go ahead and schedule with us. You'll find an easy-to-use booking tool. If there's any other questions before we wrap up today's sessions, any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. This is a great way to learn. We're all doing marketing through some method, whether it's SEO, pay-per-click, billboard ads, or radio. We're generating leads. Let's just make sure that we're converting those leads at the highest possible rate. Thank you all so much for your time. Let's work together to earn even more money with the leads that we already have. Imagine having an electronic assistant helping you follow up with all your leads. It's like having an extra team member on your side. So if you want to reach out to me, you know the information. Thanks and have a great day.